What's going on, everybody? My name is Eric Laitman. This is my new podcast. It's called Sex Box, and it's basically a mix of all different types of topics to talk about. Sex Box comes from Latvian. A good friend of mine told me about it. It's boxing topics, sex topics, whatever. There's nothing that's off limits. So my first guest is the infamous, amazing, awesome roommate and good friend now, Grant Hinshaw.
Wow. What's going on?
He came in from Ohio.
Yes, sir.
So welcome, Grant.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. This is our apartment. So over the time that we've lived together, I've kind of gotten to know you a little bit. How has life been going out in sunny California for you?
Oh, man. Quite the change from cloudy Ohio. But no, we've been here 3 months. You've been here longer, but I've been here about 3 months. It's been crazy. I mean, it's been up and down. It's been a lot more difficult to get myself where I want to be, and I'm still not there yet. But it's all about keeping your head down and pushing through, and getting to where you want to be. So I'm just working on that right now, and have been working on that, and will continue to work on that.
All right, I think that's a great way to go about it. So you and I have had two completely different paths, I would think. I mean, we've had similar paths in that we both went to colleges. We lived at colleges. We didn't live at home.
Right.
But I'm coming from New York, and you're coming from Ohio. So I know you mentioned that you've had ups and downs. Before I ask you what the ups are, because I'm sure there's maybe a few, and I'm sure there's a few downs. What have been the downs for you?
Well, I should preface this by saying I graduated with a degree in Geographic Information Science from Ohio State.
Woo!
In Columbus. But yeah, proud of that. But at the same time, we're about to get deep here. But I feel like I lived my first 20 years kind of on autopilot, and just kind of went through the motions, and started getting into college, and shit gets real. It's like, damn, what do I want to be? What do I want to do with my life? And never really figured that out until probably 3 years through college, and that's when I'm like, shit, I want to get into the music industry, whether that be actually producing stuff, which is like a dream, but for now, why I'm here is I want to get into music festivals and putting those on, and being in event operations and stuff like that have to do with electronic music. So the downs of that, when you put that together with having a Geographic Information Science degree, when you go in for interviews, excuse me, or when you want to talk to somebody in the industry, like I've had the opportunity to, it can be daunting sometimes, because they'll sit there and look at your resume, and you just know they're thinking, what the hell are you doing here? What are you thinking? And that's just been the worst part about it, being here, is just going through that. And it's like, damn, I know this is what I want to do. I know this is the industry I want to be a part of now, but it just took so long for me to figure that out, that now, I'm kind of paying the price, or I feel like I'm paying the price, because I don't have a piece of paper that says, music business on it. But to an extent, I mean, that's an excuse that I haven't found success out here yet. So, I mean, I'm trying, and that's just the main down, is I haven't been able to find a good full-time position in the music industry. So yeah, that's my down.
All right, I feel that. So tell me about what it was like to transition from Ohio to Los Angeles. What was the transition like for you?
Like I said, totally different here. You can't get much much polar opposite than your old small town Ohio, where I was from, to the big city Los Angeles. But
So for me, it's similar. For you, you're saying it's different. What specifically has been different?
oh my gosh, I mean, it's hard to point specifics. I mean, everything is different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally weird for me because going back and like restarting with making new friends and stuff, like I haven't had to do that since I was a kid, basically, because like I've had a lot of the same friends go through high school and even through college. Like my closest friends were my high school friends, and I tried to branch out in college a little bit, but I just didn't find my group. But that also goes to say, like, I was very happy with the group of friends that I had, and I thought that's okay. That was fine. That was great, and I still talk to all those guys a lot. But now, when you're out here, I can't hang out with them every other day. I can't hang out. I can't, go to them and talk to them face to face. Can't party with them. Like, you just gotta restart, and that's been the main change for me. And I tried to hold on to that for a while. I'm sure like through video games, through like, I mean, FaceTimes aren't bad, but when you do it a lot, you can end up wasting time. And that was the main thing with video games. I don't know. It's
just on a side note. I want to say Grant actually told me that he went back home, and he came back and left his video games there, which is that's great, man. That's really good.
Left the old Xbox at home, but
I feel you. So that was more than just video games, but it was also, I didn't know this, but it was also a tie for you to your friends.
Right. Well, that was like, I mean, the video games were part of it. They were fun, but like just being able to keep up with my friends, and I kind of felt like I was in the same room with them, and that was big for me. But it also, I slowly figured out myself that it was hindering my growth a little bit here, and definitely hindering my work ethic and job search, and just growing as a person, like I said, here in LA. So, we tossed the Xbox, and now just trying to get better in every way that I can. So I'm pretty sure but I picked up a gym membership and going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. Nothing crazy, but...
So you're going to a gym, but
right.
What specifically is different about the membership that you picked up?
It's from 6 to 11 a.m. in the morning, so get my ass out of bed.
So I've never heard about a membership like that. When you told me about it, that was the first time I had heard of something like that. So what is it? You just went to the gym and they were like, discounted rate if you go just in the morning?
Exactly. So it's like $10 less per month. I'm balling on a budget, obviously, so I'm like, okay, this would be great to get myself up in the morning, and it's good for my bank account too. So.
We would mention the gym, but they're not sponsoring us right now.
Yeah, so no sponsor.
I feel you. So that's good, man.
Yeah, so that's just what I've been trying to do, is bit by bit, just taking out the negative things in my life and building up the positive things, and hopefully that takes me to a better place.
I feel you. So for me, I'm a little older than you. When I moved from New York to California, I had a panic attack. Probably after 3 days of living here, I was like, man, what in the hell am I doing right now? And I remembered exactly. I was basically like in a subletted room, and I didn't have. I think at this point I forgot to bring my comforter from the last place I was staying at to my new place, and I was cold, and it was dark. I was alone, and I was just like, man, I can't just go to my family's house. Like, I can't just drive a car there. I have to get on a plane and go see them, and So
right.
For me, like I said, I'm a little older than you, but for you, have you had anything like that?
I've never gotten as far. I don't know. Panic attack seems strong to me, but the occasional fucks and shits throwing around in the car when things aren't going right. That's about as far as it's gone for me, though. So
Right.
try to keep a level head as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, it's part of coming out here is you lose back home a little bit. As much as you don't want to think that's the case, I mean, it's the reality of it is you're not as close to the people that you were tied to for so much of your life before.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So you mentioned like friends that friends was like a big thing. What are some other things that you've noticed that have been really different?
Well, traffic. Getting real basic here.
Well, so here's what I've noticed about traffic. So when I drive through traffic, I always notice that there's either an all the way to the left lane that's basically free, or there's cars that are moving fast, or there's an all the way to the right lane that cars are not in because they hate like going right and then staying in that lane and then merging back in. That's like the biggest thing that people, what I found in LA, don't like to do when it comes to driving. So for me, I've kind of been able to like own the roads. I was like, okay, if people aren't gonna drive in this lane, I'm just gonna drive it. So it's been easy for me to be like, okay, left lane, oh, boom, cutting out a lot of traffic. Right lane, doing that. Have you, like, how is your driving when it comes to LA driving?
Yeah, you got the cheat code down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of that too when I can, but sometimes the right lane gets a little too risky, bobbing and weaving inside of those parked cars, because a lot of the times the right lane will look super open, but then all of a sudden there's a parked car there and you can't get back into the left lane, and then you lose even more time. So it's just.
I was specifically thinking about a highway, but you're talking about the side roads. No, but your side roads are true. Yeah.
I mean,
so for those of you that don't know, in Los Angeles, basically the majority of the roads, they have like parking spots on the actual road that most people would drive on. I mean, it sounds like something, whatever it is, but I'm not used to that. Usually, if you have a road that people drive on, there are no parking spots, especially in a lane that should be used for driving. So I've noticed that, and yeah, a lot of people don't like to do that, especially not on the highway roads, but the regular roads. And again, I still do that on the regular roads, which is great. But you're saying you don't like to do it because of merging. Do you think you're a risk taker?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What was, just on a side note,
Okay.
if you could think of something that was like one of the biggest risks you've ever taken,
Oh God.
not coming to LA, something else, what do you think it would be?
Oh man. You knocked the big one right off my list. Because that embodies like everything that I've, like the biggest decision of my life. Nothing even comes close to that.
How about this? I'll go first, and while I'm going,
Okay.
you think of one that you can remember. So, no, I'm trying to.
Easy.
It's very easy, but I'm trying to figure out how to say this.
Okay.
Basically, one of the first things that got me was when I would first start having sex with women.
Okay,
Here we go.
here.
When I first started having sex with women, I had a hard time having sex with them sober. When I was in college, I had a hard time having sex with women sober. And by sober, I mean alcohol. And basically, to get over that, one of the biggest risks that I took was with my first girlfriend. I decided, this was after college, I decided that I was just going to change that completely. And I made a decision to myself, and I was like, Eric, no drinking at all when you're going to have sex with her. So it took me a few months to end up having sex with this girl, and by the time it came around, I was actually so nervous that I had a hard time getting it up. And then we kind of like talked it through, and I was just like, man, I'm real nervous right now, And long story short, after the sex did happen, we broke up. So I was just like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like the one time that I and for me, I thought I did a horrible job, but it turns out we went a few times, and I really did a great job. But it just so happened that there were some other things going on, some religious stuff that occurred, and we ended up getting back together after that. And then I really ended up getting more confident in myself when it came to sex, and that was a big risk for me because that was one of the scariest things that I've ever done. That was one of them. I've done a lot of scary things in my life, but that was like one of the scary things that I can remember right now that occurred.
Quitting drinking.
Before sex. So yeah, it was tough. I had a lot of insecurities about my body, and it turned out that now I've gotten to a place where I'm not insecure about my body. So, how about you? Do you have anything you think of?
Well, I mean, I can talk a little bit. So just going back to what I said at the beginning about living on autopilot and just kind of going with the flow of life, doing what everybody else is doing, not really exploring myself too much, but just staying in the middle and doing what expected of me. But like when I mean, all of this leads to my decision to come out here, but like when I discovered dance music and festivals, like that was the risk, was me jumping out of this like kind of like sheltered life that I put myself in, really, and then just being my own person was kind of the risk taken, and like kind of changing my brand, if you will, and just expressing myself, the real person who I am. And that was like a big step for me, I think, because eventually when I started going to these shows and stuff, I'm like, holy shit, like I'm having the best time of my life, sober at some of these shows. And
it's hard. It's really hard.
Well, I mean, I think it's a testament to how much I love it. I mean, you're damn right when you say I haven't been to every single show sober. Like it, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to go drunk or whatever and do that with friends. But at the same time, I mean, I think it shows how much I love the music itself and the events and the people who are involved with them. And just finding myself was the risk, and then putting myself out there for that, I guess, would be my answer.
Really?
I don't know.
Sounds great.
It's just kind of talking out loud. I know it might not all make sense, but
another added question. You said something about what defines you.
Sure.
Just now, like if you had to think of something at this very moment in time that defines you,
like a word?
No, whatever you want, whatever comes to mind that defines you. I would say for me, it's willpower right now. I think it's been that for a while. I think whatever I've had the will to want to do, I've been able to find the power to do it. How about you?
I think for me, hope and passion.
All right. Those are two good
it's words. Defining my whole lifestyle, because I'm sure a lot of people think I'm insane if they knew what position I was in and what I was doing out here, kind of like throwing away a decent life that I could have had with my own in my own studies and stuff like that. Probably could have gotten a decent job and had a decent life, but that's not what I wanted. So here we are, and now we're just hoping and going after my passion. So yeah, that defines me.
Do you think you were too comfortable in Ohio?
Yes, I think that's good to say, but I didn't realize it until it was too late for like my major per se, because I don't know, always growing up, even before high school, like Ohio State was like the school. My dad went there, and like he's a major role model for me, and like, oh, this has got to be it. Like Ohio State, the school is so big, it's so it can what's the right words here? it has so many career opportunities and paths for whatever you're interested in. So at the time, I thought, hey, this is going to be great, and I think it was a good, a good decision at the time when I had my blinders on, because it had so much opportunity. But it turns out that their music business program isn't really relevant, and there are much better places and schools to go for that. But by the time I figured out that stuff is what I wanted to do, I was through 3 years of school, and the most I could do was pick up a minor in my last year and get something music business for my resume.
What made you think that music and shows are the way to go?
What's that?
What made you think that music and shows are the way to go?
Yeah, just through experiencing more of them myself and learning more about the music, learning more about producing the music.
So luckily I know Grant pretty well. Grant was a DJ back in college.
Oh boy.
And Grant won't tell you this, but I know that he was a DJ. He went to a fraternity. What fraternity did you go to?
Sigma Phi Epsilon. It was a brief stint. That's a long story for another time.
All right, brief stint, doesn't matter. I was also in a fraternity, but mine was a little longer stint, and it changed my life. But either way, I guess you did DJ maybe once or twice or something.
I actually DJ'd for Sig Ep two falls in a row. So the fall season is huge at Ohio State because of football. And, every time we had a home game, we would have a block party at our, one of our fraternity houses. So, that's like 6 times each fall. So probably like 12 gigs or so.
Did you pay for it?
A little bit, yeah.
In women, right?
Not usually, no.
In men. What do you mean? No, I'm just kidding.
In bros, no. No, it's just fun. It was a good hobby for me.
Yeah. And that's not what sparked the love of music and shows? Yeah?
It's part of it. It's definitely part of it, I think. That's not, originally I thought, hey, maybe like this DJing thing's really cool. Maybe that's what I want to do. But, doing more research and looking into it, I mean, it's cool, but it's a hobby. I mean, to be a DJ is not really a career path, a sustainable career path. So, moved on from that, but it's still fun to break out the decks every once in a while, mess around.
I feel that.
For sure.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, 5 days ago, I was trying to figure out my passions and hobbies, and the way that I did that was I wrote down like a list of things that I was interested in, or things that I'm good at or that I've been told I'm good at. One of them was like deep conversations, building relationships, and then what I did was I took all of those characteristics that I wrote at the top, and I thought about things that I could create with those characteristics. So another word that defined me was fearless. So I was like, okay, what can I create with, like, I don't know, I like to dance, I like to build deep relationships. So what I did was I created a list. One of them was a podcast. Another one was like a race that I want to maybe hold, and then even like parties. It'd be great. I just thought about this. So you know that I'm trying to get like some sort of singles event going on.
Right.
Maybe you could just DJ for that event.
Oh my gosh. Here's the thing.
Oh, here we go.
I mean,
I'm all ears there, Grant.
Right, so I've gotten a few offers in the past to do like weddings and stuff like that.
And he kills it.
And it's a no for those. I mean,
but specifically for a singles event, Grant is in. Well, okay, go. Tell me why.
You see, DJing, you have to, for those, general events like that, not really like parties, you don't play a whole lot of music that I'm interested in. So at that point, it takes the fun out of it for me, and it becomes a chore more than like a fun hobby. So that's kind of where I draw the line usually. So, I mean, unless you're dying in dire need, I mean,
I felt like what it was to die, to be dying. I'm definitely not there. I'm not dying in dire need of that. But what kind of music are you interested in? Like, what's your music? What's your go-to?
EDM, electronic dance music, for sure. I'm sure that's all I play.
So the main EDM artists I know are like Avicii, Alesso, Tiesto.
Yep.
And also, I don't know if you know these, but Gino, I think it's A&M. They're Miami-based. I'll play you some more music after this, but it's pretty good. But anyway, what about you? Who's like your favorite? When it comes to
the ones you mentioned are all great. I'm fans of them all. I haven't dipped too much out of the mainstream either, but like Martin Garrix, Eric Prydz, Above and Beyond, Seven Lions, Millennium, like those are my favorite artists right now. All good stuff, like emotionally like uplifting music.
Okay, so tell me this for the next year. Now
It's January 6th.
Today is January 6th. Today is the 6th of January.
Indeed.
Woo!
Indeed.
And
it's 2020.
It's 2020. So there's still quite a bit of time left in the year, as you know.
Yes.
And what do you want to accomplish for the rest of the year?
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Well, for starters, we need a full-time position, hopefully in the music industry. I mean, that's goal number one. That is like the mecca of everything for me right now, is to just get myself started in the music industry, and then we just go from there. But some other goals, I don't keep myself in shape, be more in shape than I've ever been, physically, and emotionally, really, than I have been in my entire life. I mean, this whole time in LA has been testing me both physically and emotionally more than I've ever really been tested.
You keep saying emotionally. What do you mean by that? So also Grant's sister is here, by the way. He does have family here.
This is true. I don't know, when things aren't going your way, like they kind of are for me right now, and they haven't really ever been like that. You know, they haven't been, so poor. Things haven't looked so poor for me, just from a broad point of view. It's just trying to stay positive.
Was it easy getting into Ohio State for you?
Not necessarily. No, I mean it's above average school. I think their average ACT is like, I mean that's not everything obviously, but it's like 28 to 32. So nothing too insane, but not bottom of the barrel either. It's one of the better public universities in the Midwest, I think.
It is one of the best. It is one of the better universities in the United States, I think. All right. So you're looking to get into shape, you want to get a job, and emotional health.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
So based on what you're saying, I've actually failed at everything I've ever done. Everything. Just want to let you know
I'm sure that's not true.
So every time I say this, people always say that. And what I mean by that is that I've at first failed at every single thing I've ever done. And it's been extremely difficult for me to do most of the things that I'm successful at now. But starting out, I failed miserably. I failed many times over. I was fired from my first job. Yeah, the only people that really get over, on the rest of society, that really turn out really well are the ones that keep trying.
Yep. LA's punched me in the face multiple times now, and I've taken more hits than I thought I would have to.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe in Ohio you were like maybe you were like the dominant force for what was needed in Ohio. But then maybe you were just born and brought up to be the dominant force in Ohio because you went to a good school, you had a lot of friends. I don't think socializing was difficult for you. Then I guess from state to state, what you need to be dominant varies. So maybe in California, maybe you have to, I don't know, maybe skills need to be changed because for me, I was coming from one city to another city, and in my opinion, I thought that in New York, I was not the dominant force. I thought that, maybe that's what it is. But
I don't know. It's just flipping the switch. I mean, like literally, like restarting my life almost.
yeah,
And that it just takes a while to crank it up. I think, and it's tough.
it's very tough.
It's tough.
Do you have anything else you want to add or say?
Not on that.
All right. Well, I was thinking about ending this.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, we can end it there.
This was super good.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you stay tuned. I got some other guests. But again, this is Grant Hinshaw. I'm saying that right? Your last name?
Yeah.
Grant Hinshaw. And if you have any questions for either of us, are you on social media?
Yeah. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Twitter is Grant Shaw 10, and then Instagram is Grant _Hinshaw 24, I think. So.
All right, and if not, I'm just gonna post the link underneath the video. I'm on Instagram at Biggie Life. You can catch like all my pictures and stuff. It's on private, so I just gotta add you. And if you have any inquiries, you need help with anything, I've been through a lot. Grant has been through a lot too. If you want to ask us any questions or anything, feel free. Talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to Sexbox, greatest podcast ever invented. All right.
Bye, guys.